You know the dude from Drake and Josh? Remember that show, like that Nickelodeon show back in the day?
I remember.
Yeah. So former Nickelodeon star Drake Bell speaks out about being sexually abused as a 15-year-old actor. And the coach, Brian Peck, was sentenced to 16 months in prison in 2004. So it was I guess it was sealed at the time. And they didn't reveal that it was him in the case. But now he's coming out to doing a whole documentary, like the dark side of child acting and this, that. I think he made him give him. I think he made him give him a blowjob or some crazy shit.
To be fair, 15 in Hollywood is like 23.
That is like 23. You age out by 25, so like get something, right?
You got to get something, and he's gonna get probably a chunk of change. You know, he'll get a little a blowjob. So he had to give a blowjob. Would you give a blowjob? I wonder what his bank account's like. What do you think? It's fat, or is he not doing well?
I don't know. I would say probably not doing super well now, but if he got a good deal on syndication money, because that show probably played. Nah, he's only worth, and obviously still worth more than us, but he's only worth $600,000. So he was on Nickelodeon for years, bro. You know, he must.
His time wore out. Why didn't he? Did he bring it to the table in 04 or any time in between 04 and now?
No, bro, the guy went to jail
immediately.
The guy who did it happened. So the guy started, and look at that. And this is what's fucked up about all this shit.
All right,
16 months, bro. You heard? He only did 16 months in prison, bro.
That's 1 month per year.
Right. It was 16 blowjobs. It was 16 blowjobs. So one boy pedophilia blowjob gets you a month. And it turned out it was 16. Well, there's 16 counts of child blowjob, so that's 16 months.
And if you're lucky enough, as conspiracies go, to get the judge that's always at the function, the Chili Mo functions.
Yeah.
And he's like, he gives you 16.
Yeah. Yeah, ain't that fucking crazy though, bro? 16 months for that shit, bro.
16 months. I know people that have done way more of that for expired driving on license 5 times.
For weed. I know dudes who did shit like that for weed, bro. For like when they were like really handing down the weed shit early 2000, like prior to like 2010, right? Like when they kind of started softening it in a lot of states. I know dudes who did years, bro, for weed, bro.
And do people not think that when these things come out that the Chili Mo's don't know this? And it's like this is like Joe Rogan moving to Austin and all the comedians come.
Yeah.
So if you're a Chili Mo, you go 16 months in what city, what area, where do I have to get in?
Yeah. He's chilling. It's not even like a hard fucking sentence, like, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying that's where they go to get their victims. Then they're like, well, if I go to this state, they're more lenient in this county on Chili Mo's. That's terrible. Yeah, the rape of 2 Corys.
Yeah. Dust is actually the one who introduced me to that. I didn't even know. Dust, talk for 1 second about that. I'm gonna go get a lighter.
It was I don't know. He wasn't saying it was Kevin Bacon. It was who was on the set of Lucas? Charlie Sheen. And it was wild because he said that Charlie Sheen somehow had access to the big jug that your grandma uses of Crisco. He had a big jug of Crisco in one hand, catches Corey Feldman or Corey Haim in between the actors' trailers, and just slathers up his dong and gives it to the hamster, dude.
That's what they say. That was Charlie Sheen's accusation, right?
And then you run it back in your head and you go, Charlie Sheen was on a lot of blow. Do I put it past him? I don't know Charlie Sheen that well, but would you carry around like a gallon of Crisco if you just were off the blow constantly and just sexually deviant?
He used to carry it in ketchup bottles, though, and cut the tips. So, like, it was like...
That's when he got better.
It was like fucking Billy the Kid, but with fucking...
The 5 squeezer on the hamburger when you work at the fast food joint?
Yeah.
So you're covering the whole bung hole. Not just
one shot.
Hole.
One shot. He can hit a bung hole from a mile away. He's like American Sniper, Charlie Sheen, but with Crisco. Fucking 300 yards. But that's the problem, right? That's the problem. I actually just got KY jelly for somebody on an Instacart order yesterday, and I was like, "Oh,
bro, you know what I'm using instead of that? Sorry to cut you off. Is coconut oil is so much cheaper.
And but it's a little gooey though. You got to water it out a little bit.
I mean, if you take a shower like a normal person afterwards, you're fine.
After, yeah. Well, yeah.
I know, a lot of people don't
if you're going to put a coconut on your fucking dick, you might want to take a shower after. You know,
Sometimes it's fun just to leave it on there, and you just
Right.
go throughout the day with sex dick. Is really
Right.
good.
But to the point with all this shit, you know, that's like the problem with all of this stuff, right? It's like, you know, what happens. Who do you believe? Who the fuck is just saying shit because they're fucking manic? Who's just saying shit because they're crazy? Who's just saying shit because they're trying to hurt somebody or they're bitter? You know, the Ryan Garcia shit, you know, you got this guy bringing light to it, but then you got Ryan Garcia who's going to be discounted by most sane people, right? Like, even if it is true, most people that are level are going to be like, oh, this dude clearly lost his mind. It's about pictures with aliens too. So it actually like takes away from the awareness that's actually brought by dudes like Drake Bell, where there was a case, right? There was a case. Dude went to jail. Same thing with Corey Feldman. You know, I don't know if that shit is true, or if that's just another, because Corey Feldman, we all know he's a loony bin. You know, Corey Haim never said it. So it's
He
like,
was
who the fuck
so
do you
fun,
believe?
though, dude? He was so fun. If you go back and watch Corey Feldman
yeah.
when he's raising money for the 2 rape of Corey's for like 5 years, and he was doing YouTube channels.
Crowdsourcing.
He would crowdsource the movie, and what he would do is do vlogs at like it looked like timeshare balconies in nice areas where he's staying, where these people are paying for him to go with his band, with his band he had. I forget the name, Corey and the 5 Hearts or some shit.
Some weird shit, yeah.
But he would crowdsource from the balcony of a nice spot and be like, "Yep, I know everything about it. I saw Charlie Sheen.
Right.
I seen the guy."
He was spending the crowdsource money on like that harem of women that he fucking had living in that mansion.
Remember, they were coming out being like, you know, he was grooming.
I know, that's the problem. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like for every story that has validity with this shit, there's other ones that don't, and then it takes away from the awareness that we need, because it does happen, right?
If you decided to be a pimp and you know everything from books, or maybe you met a couple, where do you go to get your first girl? It's the most popular answer that we all know from movies in the 80s, 90s. Where did every pimp go? No, they went to the Greyhound bus stop, fool. They always went to the Greyhound bus stop. They always went there.
It was always the bus stop. You look for
the bus stop.
They look, well, because they would look for like vulnerable women who just got off a trip.
Runaways.
Right? Yeah.
It was runaways going to, that was in California. It'd be like, go to the Hollywood Greyhound because somebody's coming to make it. They're running away. Yeah. And then you can scoop them up in your 9 Deuce CAD. Yeah,
that makes sense. The Greyhound bus stop. But so that's the thing. So Ryan Garcia seems manic. Josh Peck seems real. Corey Feldman, that I might lean a little more Ryan Garcia on that one. You know,
you're leaning more Garcia than Charlie Sheen in the Crisco story.
No. What I'm saying is like, I put Corey Feldman a little more in the Ryan Garcia category. Maybe like I lean, if there's like a metric for like, here's Drake Bell. Right on one side, here's Ryan Garcia on the other side. I Corey might be floating a little more towards the manic.
Who do you believe more, Corey Feldman at this point, or the Rye?
I would have to say Corey at this point, because that shit was based upon 80s Hollywood.